Know the Snow is brought to you by the Canadian Avalanche Centre and the Yukon Avalanche Association.
Hey, good morning everyone. Last day of the field season for the Yukon Field team. Beautiful spring conditions. Just want to take the opportunity to thank everyone on behalf of Eric, Scott, myself. We've seen tremendous support from the community over the past 2 years, and that's really led to the success of the program. So thank you very much.
A pattern of weak southwesterly flow followed by short but intense outflow conditions has brought cold Arctic air into the White Pass region. This has left us with winter conditions up high, and with that comes winter avalanche problems. Here are some thoughts on the current conditions and looking forward as we move further into spring.
Still dealing with winter temperatures though. We've seen really cold overnight temperatures and lots of new snow up high in the mountains, making for some great skiing and riding. With that comes winter avalanche problems, which are primarily specific to the upper snowpack. So that's dealing with upper snowpack avalanche problems, storm slab, wind slab, and loose snow avalanche problems. One thing to think about is when we all have all that nice fresh new snow, is if the wind does start blowing, that's all available for wind transport. And where is that wind blowing that new snow into wind slabs? Behind terrain features such as ridge lines, gullies, and terrain breaks. Having said that, it is April and the sun's very intense, so we are seeing a series of melt freeze crusts and sun crusts developing, and those crusts can act as persistent weak layers and can persist late into the spring.
So what failed down there about 50 centimeters is our persistent weak layer that we've been talking about in the conditions report. It's a layer of sun crust and facet combination that persists within the snow, and it's got a good slab on top of it.
Looking forward, when we do move into more of a melt freeze spring cycle, we're dealing with more diurnal avalanche problems. So thinking about the avalanche hazard increasing throughout the day as the air temperature rises and that sun has more of an effect. Those type of avalanche problems are things like wet, loose snow. So when that sun starts shining on that fresh new snow for the first time, it's very unconsolidated and it fails very easily. You can see a cycle actually happened last week when the temperatures did rise, and on this north face, numerous loose snow avalanches. As we move forward into spring, we're going to see the temperatures rise even more, and when that happens, we start to think about larger columns of snow becoming weaker, those cornices way up high on the ridgeline getting weaker and weaker, and eventually they do start to fail naturally. There is the potential that those large, heavy pieces of snow can act as heavy triggers and trigger deeper instabilities, causing surprisingly large avalanches. So some travel advice moving into spring is think about starting your day early, right? We're dealing with diurnal avalanche problems. Get an early start in the morning and stay off south aspects later in the day, and think about ending your day earlier in the afternoon. The other thing you want to check for is, did we get a good overnight refreeze? Did those temperatures sufficiently drop below zero that the upper snowpack is freezing solid into a crust and it's bridging those weaker layers below? That's all from us from the field team. Thanks again for a great season, and we'll see you next year.